I think today we've got a senior professional from the infrastructure background who's actually looking forward to, going into senior roles. And we're going to be looking at what's needed to make and the VMware tools that you said you actually used. So what were they used for to do the virtualization or take the
No,
image?
so with respect to the cloudscape, actually we used to scan the complete their current infrastructure. So what it did, it did a scan within their data center. We deployed a VM. In the VM, we installed the required applications into it, and it did a complete scan starting from the network till the end, and it created complete a dependency mapping. Say if I say top down architecture, first the application, then depending which all that application depends on which all VMs or servers are there, then dependent server and related which all network devices, which all subnets are there. We got this complete means flow of how the data is flowing from top to down as well as down flow. So that made a complete infrastructure, and application wise we were able to define, okay, for this application these are the main set of we can say the devices on the infrastructure side, because there were documented. I can't say the documents were not fully ready, but it was like 50-60% of documents. Some of the, because what we face in the challenge when this kind of migration comes up, initially the document will be ready, but after, as soon as the applications gets migrated to next level, so those updates um, gets lack of update of the new things. So say something, some in between they upgraded some and they moved particular application from old server to a new server. So the new server name they missed to update in their existing document. There were multiple things like this. So that's why we can't always depend on the existing documents also. So this kind of tools, like we use a cloudscape, which was very useful for it, and it made our means planning in a better way we were able to do. And with respect to, as you talked about the VMware side, right? VMware side, it has a great tool. With the vMotion, we were able to move the VMs which is on the live migrations, means existing VM we set up on the target side also similar infrastructure on VMware on IBM cloud actually. So we set up layer 3 switch using Cisco SDN, so so that it will support the complete same set of subnet on the source as well as the target. So utilizing vMotion, we were able to completely move existing running VM from source data center to target data center, so that uh, application team will not even know where their VMs are and what it is happening in the background. Yes, there will be some glitch which is not much noticeable to them. Only the members who are being notified through change or anything, they will only know, okay, server is moving. So currently maybe the application impact, right, means accessibility may delay for some seconds. So that was only the point. And when it happens a cutover from source to target, at that times some fraction of seconds will be the delay. So that's why we use the vMotion here for the VMware infrastructure. But yeah, for the other infrastructure like physical one, we use Carbonite move to move from physical to, means source physical data center to target physical data center. Now, because those applications which are legacy applications, we were not supported as a virtual environment, so we have to go some of them as a physical only, but with a higher configuration of the hardware side of it. So yeah, so that's the
So
thing.
yeah, you basically use hot swapped your VMs across the
Yeah,
devices and
correct,
so
correct.
at that time, were there any state changes like when you were hot swapping, as you said? application developers would not notice it. But just a question. So will there be a downtime,
No,
or it was completely hot SAP?
hot completely. Only the thing is when it means once we initiate the V motion, right? During the V motion, because there will be a memory consumption on the source side mainly, and in the same time, if the applications also access, the throughput will be less for the application side. So that's why we planned everything during off business hours, this V motion, so that, and we plan it like do a sync, right? First, the data sync during the off business hours prior to the proper cutover times. Like we do the cutover during this off business hours and weekends and all, but the preparation work will be done during the weekends itself, and it will continuously do a sync, so that uh, the minimizing the throughput what they used to get. So that way we did a plan.
Okay, and what about Carbonite? Was that also active switch?
No, it was not fully active
Because
switch,
that's yeah,
because yeah,
hardware based thing, and you said
yes,
quickly.
yes,
So
it's
there'll
not
be some
fully.
downtime at that time.
Yes, it was a downtime, but we minimized it with as first making sure during the weekdays, or sometimes it continuously do a sync, because there is 100 GBs of data on this physical server. So to make sure the complete data is synced between source and the target site. So once the sync is in the proper state, the cutover time, it approximately maximum 30 minutes used to take. So only the time it takes to sync the data between the source to target. So we made that as a prerequisite for this migration and all, so that it is a minimum downtime for them.
Okay. Can I ask you what is the domain on which all of this was happening? Was it finance domain, insurance, healthcare?
It was like, that's why I was telling, like the uh, customer was supporting the other customers. Means it was like with respect to financial, retail, I can say normal customer. It is a they was giving a, we can say nowadays a cloud came, right? So they were giving a cloud to other customers. So it was a full government organization. They had hospitals. Uh, Everything was there.
So they were
So
supporting multiple clients.
multiple clients, yes, with multiple, yeah.
So they were all alerted when you are using Carbonite, saying
Yes.
kind of a
They,
downtime.
yes, it is means which with everything we used to do a planning, how much time it will be, when it will be, like in a proper change planning and proper downtime, how much it will be, what is the application, which all servers are going to be moved. Otherwise, it will, because some of the financial customer were there, and it was a very critical for them. Two of the means I can say financial and as well as the health organization they had. These two customers were very much means critical for them, and they don't want any means minimum downtime. They don't want a downtime, but still to get that downtime, we have to plan maybe 1 or 2 months early, and then they inform their stakeholders like this is the time period it will be a down. So that way we used to plan.
Okay. And what was the typical SLAs on those servers? Like you should be aware of whether it was 3 nines availability or 5 nines availability, or that kind of thing.
Mm,
So are you aware of those numbers
no, that numbers were not actually
published to?
published in that way.
But you are responsible for some SLA. So what are those
Yes.
numbers that you are responsible for?
Actually, the SLA was like this with because this was a migration project, right? So with respect to how much will be the downtime, they were able to manage. So they updated according to the application. Okay, this is the application. It can be managed. We can say this much hours only. Say for application A for finance, they will be able to uh, make a downtime of maximum 30 minutes. Okay, so that way they given a complete chart, because we were going to do a migration of each application and we used to ask them, right, how much you can bear with the timings. So according to that, we planned. If they tell, okay, it can manage for 2 days, we plan those applications in a faster migrations, because those are the low hanging fruits and that is not much critical to business. So that way we segregated, like which are low hanging, we moved those in a earliest, and in parallel we planned whichever applications are very critical and which is a less downtime it can bear with. So that way we segregated the set of applications, and we kept all those application according to that, and made a prerequisites actually for more prerequisite for whichever applications are less required a less downtime, to make sure we match up with those within the downtime period. So that way it was given
Okay.
to us.
So
Yes,
no real
one
numbers on SLAs. Did you
uh,
numbers on
real
SLA?
numbers and SLS, it came once it was in operational.
Yeah,
So
correct.
once it is
Exactly. So
so
those
during,
numbers, what are
yeah,
the thoughts on that?
those numbers again depend, means I can't say exactly at this moment on the operational perspective when it happened. It again came into between IBM and whatever the standard they follow, right? So that way it gone. So maybe I need to check on that part,
Yeah. So
like in
just
the
be aware,
operational. Yeah,
exactly.
there
Just be
is.
aware of
Yeah,
that also, and
sure.
also be aware about something called. Have you heard about error budgeting in IAC kind of scenarios, infrastructure as code? There is
Mhm.
some concept called as error budgeting. So are you aware of that?
No, I am not aware.
Yeah, just be familiar with that, because those are all some good practices that companies
Okay.
do when you are handling infrastructure operations. So what that means is, in a year you are given, as you said, downtime of half an hour or
Okay.
2 days maximum. Let us say it's either half an hour or 2 days, and
Mhm.
you're supposed to fix everything within that half an hour or 2 days. So if you, let us say, if it take half an hour, but you adjusted the servers and made sure everything up and running in the 15 minutes. So you're not
Okay.
short your error budget. So if
Mhm.
you're playing within your error budget, you got more time for you to do with other. Let us say in a year you got 2 days for downtime to fix or do something.
Mhm.
Then it, or make or break things. But you fixed certain things in 3 hours or 4 hours. Still, you've got 32 hours. You got 20 more hours if it's 2 days to play around with the system and do some future changes. So that will help other teams to kind of innovate and bring in some new functionality. So that's something called error budgeting. So that
Okay.
Netflix and all these other guys use for maintaining their infrastructure. So you should be aware of those concepts. So I'll share you one good document on how Google manages its SRE and practices. So you can actually go through that.